morning, welcome to another fishing adventure. It's early, the sun is just peeking up over the horizon there. Here on the big river this morning. I'm fishing with something a little bit new and hoping to catch some big fish. Let me show you what's going on. This bucket is something new, but that's not the new thing that I was referring to. But my main bucket sprung a leak yesterday and I haven't fixed it yet. So. Using the backup bucket here, and it's not working very good so far. Yeah, that doesn't work worth the crap. It's too light, it won't sink down into the water. It just floats on top of the water. What a waste. What a waste. Goodbye. I'll just bend down and wash my hands in the river when I need to today, I guess. I got that little bucket. I think it was on clearance from Big Carp Tackle. It was like $5 or something. I was ordering a bunch of other stuff and just threw that on there. I thought I'd try one of those neato collapsible European style buckets that I've seen on the internet, but I guess that's a fail. The hook bait that I'm preparing here is boiled feed corn, sweet almond flavor. Pack bait for today is my usual base mix: old-fashioned oats, 8 cups, sweet feed, 2 cups, can of corn, and there's a can of chili beans in this mix today. And there's a bean right there. Squish it. Just gonna pack that around this 3-ounce feeder here. I'm using 3 ounces because it's the river and got some current going on here. I want some extra weight to keep that bait in place. And because there is current, I'm gonna pack this on real tight. And real quick, I'll talk more about it here after I get casted out. But this is the new thing. I'm fishing with a larger size hook today, and I'll explain more about it after I get baits in the water. But a larger, heavier hook, and I'll explain why. I did come down here and throw out maybe a gallon or 2 of cattle cubes out here. I ran down here and threw them out and then went back up to the truck and got my stuff. Oh yeah, I don't have a bucket. Okay. So as you can see, there's lots of branches and logs and stuff along the bank here, and I'm not going to be casting very far out because it's heavy current. You get more than 15-20 yards out past here and it's heavy current, so I'm going to be skating that little gap between the heavy current and the logs, and that's where I'm going to be fishing. Once I do hook into a fish, it's difficult to get them in without losing them, but it's worth trying. There we go. Yep. It's about 3-4 feet of water there. I have the drag set quite a bit tighter than I normally would in a lake, because once I get a fish on, I'm going to need to horse them a little bit and really put some force on them to keep them from swimming down into those logs. Going to be a kind of a... That first one I casted maybe 30 yards down river from me, and this next one's going to be not quite so far down, so kind of a long one and a short one, just to keep them so the baits aren't right next to each other. Whoa, I don't want to... The water is up since I was here last, so the bank is skinnier, even skinnier than it was last time I was here. There we go. Yeah, about the same depth of water, same little trough. Both baits are in the same little trough, just one's a little farther down than the other. And by trough, I mean like channel. This is under the water. This is mostly sand, bottom river. So under the water, there's all sorts of little channels and troughs and rises, and basically underwater sand dunes, basically. And there's little troughs, and the fish kind of swim in the valleys. Spend a lot of time in the valleys from my experience, so that's where I'm putting the baits, is in those little troughs. Yeah, water flow kind of behaves a lot like wind, and sand and water kind of behave very similar to wind and sand. And the bottom of this sandy river is probably much like the Gobi Desert, or a place that has lots of sand dunes. You know, it's just ever changing, always changing sand, hills and valleys and ripples and branches, and yeah. So as mentioned before, the main difference is the hook. Using a larger hook, Let me get both of them out here, and so I can show you side by side here. So this right here is the hook that I normally use, size 4 laser sharp, and then this is what I'm using today. It's a size 2 laser sharp. It's just the next size up. It's slightly larger. It's in the main reason I'm not so much interested in this overall size of the hook, but I am more interested in the diameter of the wire that it's made out of. That's my main reason for using the larger hook today, is that a larger diameter wire would be less likely to tear through a fish's mouth when a lot of force is applied. And maybe if I lay him on my cooler lid, you can see him a little bit better. Not that much bigger, and just not that much bigger diameter either, but a little bit. And I just want that little edge to help. Otherwise, everything is exactly the same as I usually do. And just a point of note, this size 4 laser sharp, this size is the same as a size 6 Gamakatsu. So, these are the numbers. There's no universal hook size. The numbers all vary from brand to brand, but I've done a side-by-side comparison. There's a video on that if you want to see it, of the Gamakatsu size 6 is the exact same as this laser sharp size 4. But yeah, at places like this and other rivers where there's current to deal with, I've noticed that I do lose more fish, which is understandable, right, when you have current. And I don't know exactly why the fish seem to get off more often in these heavy current situations than in a lake, but I'm thinking that just because I have to apply more pressure on these fish to make any progress to get them in, I think I might be tearing the hook out. And I thought using a larger diameter hook that's less likely to rip through the mouth of a fish might help. So I'm trying that today. The key part of being able to see if that makes any difference or not is catching some fish and testing it out. So hopefully the fish are going to cooperate for me today. And apart from the current, especially places like this with as many logs as there are, in the water, fish, they'll run and they'll go around and go into these things, and oftentimes I really need to horse them to get them away from that stuff. And sometimes when I do that, that's when I lose the fish. But it's time to quit talking about it and put it into action here and see what happens in the real world scenario. Thanks for joining me on this little experiment today. I fully expect my first catch to be a turtle, but hopefully not. We'll see. I'm going to shut up and enjoy this quiet morning here, and hopefully next time you see me, it'll be fighting a big fish. I see something interesting. Something over on the other side of the river that looks like something to me from here, but it's probably something else. It's probably nothing, but that looks like a moose or a cow. Oh, it is a cow. Huh. Okay. I think that cow must be lost because there are no pastures. That's steep cliff all the way over there. Guess that cow must have wandered along the river bank for a long ways. Yeah, just the one cow munching away. Must have walked along the river bank. My guess is for a long ways. What's that? Well, that looks like a car. Huh, maybe there's an old road back there somewhere then, if there's a car there. Because this is all steep hills. But there might be an old road back there, I guess, that somehow that cow wandered back there, unless it wandered along the river bank for a long ways, because it's these hills go for a long ways down there. I figured that was just a rock or a dead tree or something that just looked like an animal. But, okay, what's that? Another piece of junk. Okay, have a nice day, cow. Okay. Oh, breaking the surface. That looks like a catfish. Oh, he's trying to head for the sticks. Got those bigger hooks on there. I can horse him a little bit more than I would normally. This has got to be a catfish. Get up, do the tail slap like that. Yep. Yep. Yeah, it's a nice catfish. Now, if this fellow could give me my hook back without me having to bend it up, that would be nice. Ouch, he bit me. Charlie bit me. Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty nice catfish. 3 pounds, something like that. That'd be a good eating size catfish. I'm not keeping any fish today though. This water's pretty decently clean. I probably would eat a fish out of this river. But all right, starting out with catfish. Get out of here. Well, no issues with the hook up there. The fish bit, got hooked up, and I was able to pull him in. This hook is still nice and sharp. Don't need to change it out. Didn't bend it. Yeah, and just to mention on the bait size I didn't feel like the hook size went up so much that I needed to increase the size of the bait either. I think just 3 kernels is what I normally use for my size 4 hooks, and with these size 2 hooks I just kept it the same. That was on the farther rod. This one here is kind of the short rod, and that was on the long one. 15, 20 yards off the bank there, not very far. Don't want to go very far and get in that current. And as long as my hands are wet and dirty, I'm going to reel this one in and rebait it, check it. Yeah, it's 9:15 a.m. Been here about an hour and a half. That was the first bite. I'm surprised I haven't caught any, or at least had any problems with turtles. Last time I was here, I caught 2 turtles and had quite a few baits stolen from, I assume, for turtles, but none of that today. Of course, it is a cloudy day this morning, so I suppose the turtles aren't too anxious to get out because there's no sun for them to bask in and warm up in. All right, that was right in the trough that I wanted it. It was a little deeper than my previous cast. That's probably 4 or 5 feet of water there. That's good. That's what I want. Because there is no sunshine, I can't really see where those troughs are today. I tried earlier. I climbed up onto the bank up there and to look down, but there's not enough light going into the water for me to be able to see. Plus there's wind blowing a little bit, so the water's kind of ripply. Can't see down into there. There's nowhere the troughs are. Well, I've got a cow update. Not 100%, but I think there's more than one cow over there now. Is that a cow? Yep, that is a cow. There's another one. There he is. Right there, there's a cow. 2 cows down by the river. Isn't that amazing? Where are they coming from? I don't know. Piece of junk there. So I imagine that there's some kind of old 4x4 trail or something back in those woods that goes up maybe through that saddle up there or something. Yep, pretty exciting morning if I'm wanting to point the camera at a couple of cows across the river, I guess. I don't think it's gonna happen here today. Oh. Yeah, I'm wrong. Oh man. I just did a really bad cast way out into the heavier current, and I didn't feel like changing it because it's just been really slow, and I just had no expectations of catching anything. I cast it out in the current, and the bait was rolling around on the bottom, current pushing it around. It was only out there for a minute. Now I got a fish on, and it's out in the current, and it's in my other line, I think. So I've got my big hook on here, so I've got a little bit more confidence I can keep that drag good. It's like 10:45 in the morning. That's why I was kind of giving up. I just thought, just gonna rebait one more time and eat my lunch, and if I haven't caught anything by the time I'm done eating my lunch, I'm just gonna head home. Now, just because I got this bigger hook on, it doesn't mean I'm gonna horse them like I would if I was fishing with heavy catfishing gear or something, but just a little bit more pressure than I would normally with the tiny hook that I usually use. Alright. So that fish was right there. He was out in the current. He was out in the current. Oh! And now he's in my net. Just like that. Yeah, this was a bad cast. Accidental cast out into the faster current where I didn't want to be, and I just set the rod down, and the bait was rolling, bouncing, getting pushed by the current, and this fish bit it while I think the bait was still rolling across the bottom, getting pushed to the side. Very interesting. Maybe I'll try that again. I'll cast it back out there, see what happens. Maybe there's a group of these fish hanging out there in the current, just facing up current, just waiting for stuff to come rolling down the river into their face. Cool. Alright, there you go. See ya. Got to test out the new larger size 2 hook. Still nice and sharp. Yeah, that worked good. I pulled that fish. I mean, he was out in the heavy current to start with, and I brought him in against that heavy current, and the hook did not tear out of his mouth. That's just one example, so this is not a definitive thing that I've found a kind of potential solution to that problem, but looking good so far. Alright, I guess I'm just gonna do the same thing. I didn't chuck it way out there. I mean, probably 30 yards off, but down this way, but it wasn't in anywhere near the main current, but it was in heavier current than I wanted to be in. But maybe that's where they're at today, huh? Oh, there we go. Boom. Yeah, current's pulling on it. Yeah, the bait just rolled right there. Pulling on it again. Yeah, the bait just rolled again. Yeah, whatever. This line got messed up during that fight. The fish swam through this line, so I'll redo this one, and I suppose I'll put this one out a little farther than I've been doing it too. I mean, that might have been just a fluke. Just happened to plop that bait down right in front of a fish that was swimming upstream, but I don't know. I'll give it a try. Current's pulling, the bait's rolling. Current's pulling, 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 pulling. And the bait just rolled again. And it seems like it stopped there. It rolled 3 times. Hopefully there's still some pack bait. That rolling around didn't, you know, make the pack bait come off. I packed it on there as tight as I could. Regarding current, I mean, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Missouri River, it's known for its strong currents, and you know, I think the average when it's rolling, like right now, it's probably between 7 and 10 out there in the strongest part, 7 and 10 miles an hour. And I've read that it's been measured at 20 when the water comes up and it starts rushing through the little narrow passageways and things. But powerful currents. There's stories in the news every single year of people, you know, getting swept away and drowning and stuff. It's a very dangerous river, and the current makes it very difficult to fish too. So out of the 2 bites that I had here today, I had a 100% hookup rate and a 100% landing rate. It's only 2 bites. And obviously that's not enough data to draw any conclusions, but it's a promising start. But I'm going to keep running this experiment here in the rivers where there's current. Have you tried anything like this? Messed around with different hook sizes to try and improve your catch or landing rates? Let me know in the comments what kind of experiments you've done with hook sizes and what your results were. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. See you on the next one.